Hi there. Before we get started with today's videos, let me explain we are still in the progress of taking entries for our 2021 spring seed giveaway. The first week of March, we will be drawing 100 winners from our people that are commenting on our YouTube videos. And that's our videos that started with the contest announcement on January the 9th. No, January the 18th was the day it was published, all the way through the end of February. And I'm putting a little notation on all the thumbnails to let you know which videos are eligible to comment on and enter our seed giveaway. I certainly hope you'll do that. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, go back to that video that started it off on January the 18th. All right, let's get on with our video now. Hi there. In today's video, we're going to talk about what type of onions that we're going to grow this year. I have talked to several people, I've watched several people on YouTube, and I've done a little bit of reading online. And everyone seems to be in agreement. If you really want to grow nice onions that will save for a season, you need to plant your onions from slips, not from onion sets. The slips are just the little onion stalks that you can grow yourself by sowing seeds. We started our seeds the last full week of January, and that's what we're going to show you. I've started, believe it or not, 6 different kinds of onion seeds. Now, one of those, I couldn't tell you what they are. They're onions that we had bought from the grocery store, and as they would turn bad, I'd take them out to the garden and drop them down in the ground in between, say, some cabbages or some tomatoes. And then I let those go to seed. And I saved those seeds in just a regular lunch style paper bag, and I've planted some of those in a pot. The different type of onions that I have raised are, of course, the homegrown seeds that I was just telling you about. I have planted some candy onions, and you'll hear why I planted those when I'm actually putting the seeds in the pots. I have planted some Walla Walla onions. I have planted some Granix yellow tomatoes. And I have to look down here and see my list. I have planted some Cipollina red onions. They're a small onion. I have some Bronze de Amposta. It's actually an Italian onion. And then I have planted some shallots. So altogether I have 6 varieties of onions in individual pots, as well as a pot full of shallots coming up. All I'm doing is just sprinkling these seeds in the pots. I'm going to sprinkle them on top of the dirt, and then I'll take and put a little bit of dirt over top of these. Lucy, it is not nice to bark at people like that. That's just a neighbor walking by. Lucy has to bark at everybody. Now, this is one of the onions that I'm very This is one of the onions that I've never raised before, candy onions. But I watched Art and Bree when they were harvesting their carrots late summer, early fall last year. And Bree made a comment about the fact that the reason the onions were so large was the variety. It really wasn't anything that they had to do with them, it's just the variety. And I'm going to say I want to try it. They certainly were pretty. Always have your label ready when you plant your seeds so that you don't forget what's in the pot. I let that happen to me early last spring. I ended up selling some tomato plants towards the end of May that I had them wrong. Now this is a little red onion here. Small red onions. But it's a small red onion, but I want to try it. What I'm trying to do is raise my own onion slips. I have heard from several different people that onion slips tend to do better for keeping. Onions are biennial plants. The first year they grow and make a bulb, and that bulb tends to keep very well because it's the second year that that onion is going to set seed. And if you've ever raised onions, when an onion goes to seed, if you don't clip that seed sprout off, you're not going to have much of an onion at all. Plus, they say they don't keep well after the second year. This is another one that I am trying. This is a sweet onion, a Walla Walla. According to, I believe it was Burpee that I got these seeds from. Let me see. Nope, it was Park Seeds. I was wrong. Park Seeds comments on this onion said that this is the onion that is primarily grown in Georgia in the county of Valdosta, which is of course the wonderful little onions that we all like to buy, the Vidalia onions. Okay, now this is a shallot. A lot of people might not like shallots, but my wife and I definitely do. Shallots have a very mild flavor. They're quite a bit milder than an onion, but they still give your food a wonderful. And this is from part 2, and that, if you can read it on there, is, let me just show you the label. That'll be a little easier to read. And that is our shallot, Zebrune. I have raised some of these. They are, I'll have to admit, a very good little shallot. And I'm going to have quite a few shallots if all of those come up, because I've emptied out 2 packs that I've had in the garage for quite some time. All right. Got those in. I just have one more bag to do here, and that's going to leave me 1 pot to do my cilantro, which is what I was hoping to do. Now I am going to cover these, and I'll show you how I'm going to cover these little seeds. Seeds should only be planted 1.5 times in depth the size of the seeds. So I'm just going to dust some over there, and rather than water it with something that might scatter my seeds. And this one, don't do that, Robert. This one, this onion is a Yellow Granix, and it's supposed to be a fairly decent sized onion too. We'll see. All right, I'm going to go get some dirt and bring it out here and shake it over these and cover them. All right, here's my little bottle of water, and I am going to water these plants in by spraying them. I don't want to disturb the seeds I just put in my pots, so I'm wetting everything down. After I wet them down, I'm going to take them in the grow room, and I'm going to put some cling wrap, or if you want to call it saran wrap, but I call it cling wrap. and that will keep the tops from getting dried out. I'll have to keep a close eye on it. When the seeds start coming up, I'll definitely want to take that off. But they're definitely going to get their start inside the grow room. And I believe I have pretty well got everything soaked back down real good again. Alright, time to move the pots to the grow room. Okay, I've got my pots under the grow lights. And there's my piece of cling wrap. And as you can see, it's not real tight. It's just on there to help hold that moisture so that the ground does not dry underneath those seeds. So I have 2, 4, 6 varieties of little onions. And yes, I set some out in the fall. But this was a learning experience. They're outgrowing these little pots. When you set this type of tray down in a pan to hold the water, it gets caught on the sides and it doesn't go all the way down. So I did lose quite a few of those onions, but that's how we learn. Gardening is a learning lesson. And I don't care how long you've been gardening. And I'm an old man. At least I sometimes feel that way. But I have learned lessons every year that I've gardened because I try different things and I learn what works and what doesn't work. So I'm very happy with it, but I'm going to be happier, I think, raising onions this way. I'll tell you which is better. You'll just have to stay tuned to our Instagram and our Facebook, because I post updates on there. It's a lot easier to post a picture there and give you a description than it is to cut a new video.